Hi everybody, thank you for joining the talk. It's great to be here. My name is Omri and I head the research group at Gong. There has been huge progress in NLP capabilities in the past years. We keep seeing how deep learning models trained on large corpuses push the limits of what we thought is possible. And this presents new opportunities for NLP to completely transform an industry. Today, I want to present one such example about how NLP enables Gong to change the way people sell. So I want to take you back to a typical marketing meeting, say 60 years ago. Handsome man sat down in comfortable sofas, smoked cigarettes, slowly drank some whiskey, and tried to get into the hearts and minds of customers. But today, marketing meetings look a lot like this. Busy dashboards surfacing immense amounts of data. And over the past years, customer-facing roles, and the field of sales in particular, have gone through a major evolution. Now, this may actually come as a surprise, because we were taught that sales is something you're either born with or you will never master. We were told that sales is an art. But sales is also very quantitative. At the end of the day, your salary is largely set by the commission of sales that you make. And it is clear that a sale was made and clear who the top salespeople are. With modern NLP, we can finally add science to the art of selling, helping customer-facing teams have better conversations. So Gong aims to help teams base their decisions on reality. We focus on inside sales teams that use conferencing tools like Zoom, emails, and other communication channels to sell SaaS products in a B2B, business-to-business setting. We'll see how NLP can give users full visibility into their conversations, helping them learn and improve, make autonomous decisions, and have everyone aligned so it's easier to communicate, collaborate, and get a shared understanding of what's actually going on. How does this happen? Gong captures all the interactions that relate to customer-facing conversations. These may be Zoom calls, emails, telephone calls, text messages, Slack messages, CRM updates, and more. Gong then analyzes these data points, adds relevant annotations, extracts information and knowledge, and delivers insights that help improve deals, teamwork, and market understanding. So what does this actually mean? If you have an hour-long recorded call that without Gong would look just like a long bar, with Gong, we're able to learn much more about what's actually going on in the call. We can see who spoke when, with a timeline divided into the different speakers. We get a full transcript in multiple languages, easily searchable. We understand the progress of the conversation between different chapters and topics that were discussed in the meeting. And we also analyze the video track to identify browser demonstrations, webcams, presentations broken into slides, etc. So it is much easier to understand exactly what happened in the conversation. We also analyze and understand emails. We analyze both the communication patterns. For example, if the prospect was very responsive in the beginning, but now replies much more slowly. And of course, we also analyze the content of emails. Winning a SaaS sales deal is a long process. It involves hundreds, even thousands of calls, emails, text messages. Simply making data intuitively visible to the users is of great help in itself. Here we can see all of the interactions with a single customer on a timeline with the ability to drill down into specific conversations. And using multilingual models and techniques for machine translation and domain adaptation, we developed our models in multiple languages, catering for global teams. So the first benefit that we get is better navigation. Instead of an hour-long conversation in a long timeline, we get a view that is much more elaborate and allows us to understand what actually is going on in a particular conversation, with the different topics, speakers, progress of the call, etc. Then we can navigate to the exact place in the conversation that is of interest to us. Beyond navigation, we can use the information we extract to collect interesting statistics that can help us improve the way we actually handle conversations. So for the first time, we can actually learn if industry best practices hold water. For example, salespeople often say that we were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. we need to listen much more than we talk. When we analyze what top reps are doing, we see that indeed they listen much more than they talk. And I personally find this quite fascinating. And seeing these patterns in real data, in your own real data, is a major agent of change. It allows teams to constantly improve by aligning and focusing on points with real value. Data also shows that letting the customer talk uninterrupted for longer significantly improves win rates. The automatic inclination of novice salespeople to talk, to influence, to quote unquote win over the customer is actually detrimental to success. And by actually looking at the data, we enable people to improve and have better conversations, not only to talk, but also to listen, thereby uncover the challenges and pains of the prospect and help them solve them, instead of trying to sell them something they don't really need. So using the data that Gong collects and analyzes, we can start answering interesting questions. We see that on average, selling with slides actually decreases the chances of success, and the data allows us to understand why. We see that using slides causes salespeople to talk more and listen less, and ask significantly fewer questions. And because they ask fewer questions, they don't actually listen to the other side. So they're repeating the same generic sales pitch when people actually want answers to their own specific pain. Using NLP, we now have the ability to identify questions and the type of conversation people have. And with real data to support the analysis, teams can learn and improve the way they handle conversations. So at the base level, having the transcripts to all of those calls allows us to learn what works better in communication, as demonstrated in this slide. But to truly understand conversations, we need to understand what is being discussed. And every company and team has different discussion topics. So a conversation is just a long sequence of words. How do we make sense of it? People actually talk about many different ideas in a conversation, but we can assume that in a small enough segment of the conversation, there's a single topic. And by breaking the calls into different segments, using an LDA-like algorithm, we can actually map long conversations into smaller segments that commonly occur and differ between customers. So different customers have different topic models, and they get insights based on those topics. For example, learning that some salespeople don't talk enough about a certain topic. Using NLP, we can also break conversation into chapters that appear in order. When people are having conversations, these conversations often have a similar structure. So for an initial sales call, it can be something like first setting up the call, making sure all parties can hear each other, and learning about the other side at the discovery phase. Then we usually pitch our product, and as we learned previously, by asking good questions in the previous chapter and listening, we can adapt our pitch to the actual needs of the customer. Then we usually have an assessment phase where we get feedback, and finally we talk about the next step. So we use a generative algorithm that is kind of a stick breaking process. Imagine that we have the structure, but we don't know where the different segments happen. Using a maximum likelihood criterion, we define the chapters and find the time of transition between them. When we have this, we can analyze the optimal duration of each chapter and identify salespeople who grossly don't follow them, as we can see in the bottom graph, and help them bring more structure into their conversations. By understanding the topics of conversations, we learn that talking about the features of your solution is a pretty good way to kill a deal. Instead of talking about the features, talk about the value that they bring. Value has a higher chance of scoring you another call. So by analyzing the topics in the call, we can identify when pricing, for example, is discussed. Beyond navigation, this can be used to understand how one team member compares with others and how long we should talk about pricing, and help us coach. So with Gong, we developed our own speech-to-text engine in multiple languages, and we use it to provide call transcripts. By weaving together NLP and speech algorithms, our technology integrates context into our speech recognition engine, allowing better detection of names of participants, companies, competitors, product names, etc. For this, we build a neural network that performs G2P, grapheme to phoneme translation. Given the names of participants in writing, we know how an unknown word like Omri would be read, and we can then detect it in suitable positions in the conversation. For example, in sentences like, "It's nice to meet you, my name is Omri." This enhanced ability to detect special terms, like mentions of competitors, for example, even if they are out of vocabulary terms, allows us to provide a lot of business value. For example, we can start creating different rules based on these terms. So my manager can get an email with all mentions of competitors made by prospects in late stages of deals that are larger than 100K. She can then quickly listen to these call snippets, making sure that salespeople handle these optimally. Team members can also get a playlist of snippets that are of interest to them, that is constantly updating with content from yesterday's calls by other team members. Using our mobile app, they can listen to the latest pricing objections from prospects and learn how top salespeople actually handle them. So by using NLP with topic modeling and text classification, we can help new hires on board more quickly and help experienced people stay ahead of the curve by adapting to changes in the market quickly and efficiently. And since we have all of this information and we know what's actually going on, we can provide meaningful alerts and notifications that are directly connected to what's actually working. I've described how our topic model identifies the unique topics mentioned in each call. Users can listen to pricing objections in the last call and come prepared to the next call. They can learn if they should talk about pricing more or less or differently using stats and playlists. And in addition to all these, we can also issue an alert if a deal is expected to close in the near future, but pricing has not yet been discussed. I mentioned earlier that in sales, we have a clear indication of won and lost deals. Using this data, which we automatically retrieve from the company's CRM, we can analyze what is actually needed to win a deal. For example, we can analyze how many calls or people need to be involved in order to actually win deals. An important aspect in sales is involving the right people, including the decision makers. But how do I know I have enough power in my deal? So we automatically identify when people mention their role and titles in calls, and automatically extract a person's job title from their email signatures. With these NLP techniques, we can see how win rates change when calls involve C-level, VP, director, etc., and highlight the roles that can help you move the deal forward. Having access to huge volumes of data annotated by NLP techniques allows us to also tap into the voice of the customer and provide market intelligence serving high management. For example, we've all heard about the recent economic downturn, but how does this actually affect your business? So Gong created a tracker that identifies discussions about the economic downturn in conversations and analyzed its prevalence and effect across deal types, industries, etc. So customers can now see the effect of the downturn on their own business and take actions based on reality, not just opinions. When we integrate insights from video and text, we get interesting insights. Since we identify presentations and specific slides in them, we can look at what's happening when the pricing slide, for example, is being presented. What questions do customers usually ask about pricing? And what are the top questions in general? How well are our people answering these questions? Is there a slide that correlates with negative sentiment? And when do our agents usually offer discounts? And so on and so forth. Gong is a pretty young company. It was founded just 6 years ago and enjoys hyper growth, now employing over 1,000 employees worldwide. It is also one of the few AI pegacorns with yearly revenues well above $100 million. And these days, we're mostly excited about the potential of large language models and the features that they can bring. So I mentioned earlier that we can also extract action items from conversations. Using a text classifier, we detect action items across languages, serving as your note taker, freeing you from taking notes during the call. At the end of the call, Gong highlights those action items for you, summarizing them into something that's actionable and making it easier for you to follow up on them. With modern NLP and large language models, we're able to add more autonomy and actually act for you according to those action items. So for example, if you received an email with an out-of-office message, we will automatically detect when the person is back, remind you on the optimal day to continue the conversation with them, and even suggest an email for you. We saw how NLP helps us navigate long conversations, but beyond that, we also use large language models to summarize the call for you, highlighting key elements in it. We also offer the best way to follow up and continue the conversation using emails, and much more. So I hope these few examples give you a glimpse into how NLP can enhance our understanding of conversations. This in turn allows us to assist salespeople and other customer-facing roles in the tasks they do on a daily basis. Using NLP, they are better aligned on what was actually said, have better learning and growth opportunities, enjoy tasks being automatically done for them, and base their decisions on reality and not opinions. NLP thus completely transforms the way SaaS sales are done these days, and the direction the profession itself is headed. And with that, I want to thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to connecting with you.